There's a few things that go on with that in particular. The first is actually on a physical level. So when you first start speaking, you're actually training all of these muscles to create the sounds, to put things together. So already your body's kind of focusing on that production. So that's part of what causes that delay from the information going from here to here. And then that hesitation kind of leads to you psyching yourself out, and then everything just goes, because you're like, you go to say something that you think that you know, and it comes out and it's like blah, and you're like, ugh, and then it's like from there you're just like, I'm done, and that's it, that's all I've got, goodbye, have a nice day.
That's
So
it.
really what it is one of the things that I really like to do when I'm experiencing that, when I'm basically just getting tongue-tied and stuck, is to separate speaking from conversing. And I think that one of the things that we often do, it's like when we think I need to speak a language, we immediately assume that means I need to converse in the language. Like I need to go talk to someone else. And we need to detach these two things, because conversing is one skill and speaking is another skill. Just like, I'm going to do this a lot in this call, I'm sorry, because I am a musician, but like knowing how to play my instrument is one skill, and knowing how to play my instrument in a setting with other people is another skill. And in order to do one, like in order to play with other people, I have to be able to play my instrument. So building that alone skill first is important to be able to do the together skill. So it's the same with speaking. So you need to be able to speak first before you can converse. And we immediately jump to conversing and we don't focus on the speaking first. So what I really recommend is speaking on your own. I constantly will self-narrate in the car. It's like 今天我要做那个. It's like, today I'm going to do this, or like, and kind of do that. And it helps me, one, figure out where gaps are, two, speak without the pressure of someone else being there and listening to me. And in my head, thinking that they're judging me or criticizing me, which is often not the case. And then three, just to get comfortable, like with myself being able to do that. It's all about preparation. I'm really shy and really introverted. And so things like speaking to other people, even in English, freak me out, like to no end. But if I'm prepared in something, like even this, so I didn't necessarily do anything to prepare for this call today, but because I've been doing language learning for so long, you know, I've been answering questions about language learning. I've come across these things. I have this background knowledge that allows me to be like, okay, I'm ready for basically anything that you guys can throw at me, and I come in and I can share from my experience. And the same thing with like getting ready to do anything. If you prepare, you're going to feel more confident in doing it, and the only way to prepare is doing it on your own. And there's even like kind of an in-between from speaking to conversations as well. It's not speaking and then conversations. You can actually do things like so one, speaking, doing things like scripting to kind of give yourself something to look at and reference.
I've been doing it.
And then another thing that you can do is you can actually speak in front of someone who doesn't speak the language. So for example, well, I know Jeff is a French speaker, so he will understand me. But if I were to just be like, bonjour, je m'appelle Shannon, j'habite aux États-Unis, j'ai un fils et une fille. And like, you can tell that I'm comfortable speaking that language. You don't need to understand me, but you can tell. But if I were like, bonjour, je m'appelle Shannon, j'habite Oaks, like, so there you can tell right away she's not comfortable speaking. So you don't need to understand me. So you can go, and that way you don't have to worry someone's judging you for your mistakes. You can just say, can I read my little script to you, or can I practice saying something to you? And you just tell me if I sound confident or not. And so then that way you can kind of go through it. You don't have to worry about the judgment of the actual language itself, only the performance of the language, I guess. So you could go and you can do that. And that's another kind of in between before you actually have to say something to someone and understand what they say to you back.
Okay.
And then a third thing that kind of comes into play on this is a lot of the time when we go to converse, we're so focused on what the other person has said to us and understanding them. And there's a little bit of a delay, especially at the beginning, maybe a lot of a delay, but there's a delay between you hear what they say, your brain kind of processes it. Sometimes there's some translation going on, which if there is, don't worry about it. That's totally normal, and it will go away with time. You just keep at it and it'll resolve itself. It's not something that you'd be like, I need to stop translating in my head. It's a totally natural step. But basically there's like this filtering process that happens. And so you're listening, you're trying to figure out what they're saying. And then you're so focused on figuring out what they're saying that you're like, oh wait, I was supposed to answer a question. That was a question. Wait, what did you say again? So like there's that goes on too. So one way to kind of get through that is to do just tons and tons and tons of listening practice. And then the other thing too is you'll find that when you do start speaking, if you're listening a lot, your accent and your pronunciation is going to be much better because your ear is attuning to the language. So if I think like, again, I'm going to go back to French. So if I hear bonjour, 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 bonjour a million times, if I go to say the word and I say bonjour, I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound right. Bonjour, bonjour, and I can keep working on it so that I myself can hear those sorts of things that would inhibit another person from understanding me. And then that's a whole nother element, is that when you do go to speak and you're sure I said this right, it's like, mi amo Shannon. It's like, but I say like mi llamo or mi lamo or something, and like the other person's like, huh, what? And you're like, wait, did I say the right thing, or did I just not pronounce it well? I don't know if I know what I know. And so that's like another kind of part of this as well. So again, all of these things that I talked about will help with that too, so that when you go and you're in these situations, you can be like, oh yeah, I probably didn't pronounce that right. How do you pronounce this word? And you can like type it and they can say it and you can repeat it back. Or if it was like, maybe I didn't say that right. And then you can say, okay, what's this word? And you can start to self-diagnose, which is a really, really important skill to have.
One great way to stay motivated is to have a community that can support you, who understand the struggles that you may be facing. The Fluent in 3 Months Challenge provides that community, as well as accountability to continue learning over that 90-day period, ending in a 15-minute conversation with a native speaker. Sign up using the link below or in the video description.